Hi, everybody. I'm Janet with the Boomer Broads. This is Anne Marie, and for those of you who watch us, you know that normally we're very funny and fun,
And a little superficial.
Oh, come on now, that hurts. But today we are not going to be because you might remember we had a wonderful producer named Laila Selim who worked for us and recently returned to her not hometown,
Where she grew up.
Where she grew up, Cairo, Egypt. And as you can imagine, her timing was not great. She's now back in the States and talked to us just moments ago.
Right, we were lucky enough. She announced to us in the middle of January that she'd gotten a job offer from to start a new business with her best friend from high school, so that she was going to be leaving us. And we loved her anyway, but we're rooting for her. This was quite an exciting opportunity for her. And off she went to Cairo. And 5 days later, guess what happened? She found herself in the middle of a revolution, and we were lucky enough to speak with her today, quite extended period of time. She's back on American soil, at least temporarily, and you'll hear the rest of the interview. We're really excited to finally be able to speak to you and see you in one piece. And actually, I want to sort of maybe start with the cover of Business Week this week, just sort of say that the cover says the kids are not all right. Luckily, this kid is. Well, you're on solid ground, and maybe we ought to start, Lila, by asking, what was it like? What are you thinking? How are you?
Do you want to write these down because they're coming at you fast and furious? Why don't we start with the first one? Start with the first one.
She knows. She
remembers us.
How are you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you very much for asking. I have been in America now for, I believe, 6 days. And before that, I was in Cairo for 11 days. Before I unceremoniously was shipped back to America. And it was quite an experience. I was definitely living history, which was very exciting. And I think it's well overdue for Egypt. I was really excited to be able to witness a really inspiring uprising of, the people, all sorts of people, not just the youth, although it began as a youth driven movement, but it was incredible. At the same time, some bad stuff is happening, and I think it's really important that people don't lose focus of the bad that is happening, because it's easy for the media coverage to get a little bit tedious. You've seen it. It's not really violent anymore. So it's like, okay, well, I guess stuff's going well over there. And I really don't think we're there yet at all.
How soon after you arrived did you, first of all, did you see it coming? And obviously, if you'd seen it coming, I can only hope that your mother and father would have said, you're not going. But, did you see it coming? And how soon after you arrived did it start to erupt?
So the 5th day that I was in Cairo, it was the first day of protest, was Tuesday, January 25th. I know.
Unbelievable.
I moved. There's
They were
revolution.
waiting for you. They were waiting for you.
They were waiting. And so I had heard that there were going to be protests on Police Day. That was what January 25th was. It was a national holiday to recognize the police. And on Facebook, there began a group which grew and grew and grew in numbers, that was titled "We Are All Khaled Said," who was the man who was brutally beaten and killed, ended up dying from the attack by police officers in Alexandria. And so this kind of prompted the first day of demonstrations, the first day of protests. Obviously, without Tunisia, we probably wouldn't have had the mass, demonstrations that we ended up having. But I think that this has been kind of boiling under the surface for a very long time. And all that the Egyptians were waiting for was kind of proof that this would work. We're a very apathetic, unfortunately, country, because most of the population is my age, grew up only knowing President Mubarak. He's been in power for 29 years. 30% of the population is below the age of 30.
And you're about to turn 23, so.
I'm about to turn 23.
Right.
And so, most people don't know that there's another option besides President Mubarak. They've never seen political dissidents. They've never seen any other political party. So we're a very apathetic generation in Cairo. However, due to social networking. Thank you, Facebook. And the Tunisian revolt, we were able to kind of come together. And I say we, kind of in quotes, we, because I have to admit I was not part of this movement in the beginning. And we came together, and now we're trying to start a revolution. And
did you at some point become a part of things there? I mean, did you join in while you were there?
I did. I did go to the protests, although I will have to admit, I was a coward. I did not go on the very large day. Well, right. My parents were pretty adamant that I not go when they were firing tear gas at people, and rubber bullets. And so I did go. I ended up going on Monday to Tahrir Square, and we held a sign. It was a really inspiring show of people. My best friend and her parents and I, and her sister all went. And so that was 4 women and 1 Egyptian man. And the 4 of us look pretty Western, on kind of a scale. Her mother looks the most Western, and it kind of gets over to me. And I look Western, but maybe not all the way. And we were greeted just with hugs and hellos and thank you for coming. And, do you want to stand and hold my sign with me? Here's the cheer. Do you understand the cheer? It was really incredible to see that many people come together, especially in Cairo, where, organization has not necessarily been the Middle East strong suit. Mm-hmm. So it's really, I think it shows an incredible amount of determination that this has really come this far. They have had hundreds of thousands of people come out day after day after day in, standing against what is happening to them.
Do you think it's going to work?
What a tough question. I hope that it will work. I think that this regime is
Their day has come.
The worst. The day has come. They have to go. Unfortunately, as easy as it is for me to say, they have to go. It also involves a lot of international pressure, which has not necessarily been applied. President Mubarak has been in power for 29 years, largely due to the fact that he has America's support. And I do understand that America cannot just come out and abandon their ally. They're nervous about what will happen next. At the same time, we're living under police rule. We are an American ally that has lived under police rule. People get arrested for no reason. There is no law and order. There are no real elections. There is no democratically elected representative. People do not have the right to free speech. They do not have the right to public assembly. They do not have the right to vote. And that is, for an American ally, America's second biggest ally in the Middle East, second largest receiver of aid, to not have basic human rights is appalling.
You know what? So, before we go into, because I want to find out, did you ever feel in danger? I know we've spoken a little, and you've told me what happened, but we never explained why you went there in the first place. Can you just take a moment and talk about that?
I would love to.
While you had your 5 days of quiet before all hell broke loose, right?
Which I was working all 5 days, so that was great.
Well, then you can put it on your resume.
I don't even want to ask.
It's going to be on there 5 days.
5 days.
Don't even want to ask what happened to the business, but you're going to tell us.
Well, it's actually not looking bad. So I moved to Cairo because my best friend started a business with her father doing concert promotions. It's called Nile Promotions. You can go to it online, www.nilepromotions.com. And we are bringing.
We taught her everything she knows about marketing.
I'm just trying to speed
it
up.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So we are bringing Maroon 5 to Cairo. April 19th is the date of the concert, which coincidentally is my 23rd birthday. Very exciting.
And that's still happening?
It's still happening. It's still on the books. They are gung-ho, excited to come. That being said, obviously, if April 18th, something horrible happens, maybe not. But I don't think that's going to happen. I really think by April, even if the problems aren't solved, they'll hopefully be kind of on their way. One of the most interesting parts of this for me to witness was just kind of the economic ramifications that are already appearing. The foreign direct investment that we've had in Cairo, which has been one of the big pushes of the government, is really, just gone now. So
and tourism, needless to say, is gone.
Tourism, needless to say, the airport when I tried to get out of the country was I've never experienced anything like that. It was way scarier than the protests. People were throwing bags over crowds of people, which obviously landed on the crowds of people. People were pushing, they were shoving. It was total chaos. So needless to say, our tourism business is a little bit stunted, and it's going to be a rough road to recovery. But I look forward to returning. I was
just going to say, why do you want to go back?
For a number of reasons.
First of all, I agree with your mother that I would be hanging on your ankle as you were trying to get on the plane, but okay.
I know. But I think it's really important, especially for people in my position. I am incredibly lucky. I am not an Egyptian citizen, but I did grow up there. I am currently a part of the economy. And it's really important for people like me to go back and to prove that we can do it, that we can build a new country. And I look forward to helping with the cleanup efforts. I look forward to helping in any way that I can when I return. Hopefully I'll be able to help the economy. And I feel like it's really important for me to be a part of what's coming next. Nation building is no easy feat. And it's certainly not going to be easier if people kind of abandon ship.
You certainly would be part of a historic movement, that's for sure.
And that's a good thing on the resume, by the way. Nation building.
Nation building, yeah.
Nation builder.
You don't get many opportunities.
Laila Selim, nation builder extraordinaire.
So you only because you'd shared this with me before. Can you talk to us about the moments when you did feel danger, or you did feel in danger?
Absolutely. I think that one of the most interesting parts of my childhood and my experiences so far have been growing up in Cairo, and I've always told people since I was...
So you were born there and you were raised there?
I was not. I was raised in Cairo. I was born in New Jersey, and I moved to Cairo when I was very young and stayed there until I was 18. And I've never, in all of my days in Egypt, felt threatened. I've never felt in danger. I've never felt, like my personal safety was at risk, or my personal property or anything about me was ever, threatened. Until the past week. The Mubarak's government removed the police forces from the street under the guise of, removing the problem. He was saying, obviously, the police are, instigating this protest. They're the problem. So if we take them off the streets, everything will be fine. However, most people believe that the reason that he did that was to prove that, without this regime, the Egyptian, people will fall into anarchy. You can't do it on your own. So the military went on to state TV around 7 o'clock and said, we are calling on all citizens to protect themselves and their property. Go into the streets and protect yourselves because there is a criminal element that has been, introduced into society. There were 2 prison breaks, a third attempted. The third attempt was very, very near my house. And we didn't find out until the next day that was kind of a lot of the gunshots we were hearing were coming from the prison. There were my best friend's father. All of the men in the neighborhood were downstairs with guns, with knives, with, golf clubs. And there were gunshots. It was really scary. It was really scary to not know, where the gunshots were coming from, who was firing them, what was going to happen in the morning. Was this going to go away in the morning, or was this going to be, an extended thing? Was this going to be the next 2 weeks? Was it going to be one night? There was no way of knowing. So that was very scary. The second day that, that kind of self-policing, the neighborhood militias were in play, was less scary. We found out that a lot of people were, in fact, firing into the air, firing warning shots. But it's really impressive to see kind of that sort of community come together and really band together against what we again later found out were largely government thugs being let loose to try and create havoc, to create this culture of fear so that people would kind of return to embracing the regime as their savior. But it was also, it was very scary.